Yes, folks, hello, welcome to MoDXtra Games and Collectibles. It's Chris here, welcome to the channel, pleasure to have you here. And as you can see, today it's another action figure review for you guys to consume and enjoy. And we're going to be taking a closer look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Mutt and Junkyard set. So stick around, because in this video I'm going to be unboxing the figures and sharing my first instinctual reaction to the packaging and these two lovely Joes as they come out the blister pack. I'm then going to be talking about the visual experience of the character and talking about the aesthetic qualities. I'm going to go through the articulation on both of them and then give you a little walkthrough of all the accessories and added value that Hasbro has chucked in. And it is my sincerest wish, my sincerest hope that my thoughts today will help you make up your mind if you're thinking about picking up this set for yourself. So let's get into it and let's jump back to past Chris and take a look at the unboxing of these two figures on the day that they arrived. Well, here we go then, folks. Here is Mutt and Junkyard. Arrived in the post at MoDXtra Games and Collectibles Towers just today. And this, I believe, is the first of the new windowed packaging that I've received here at the Towers too, which is really, really exciting. So you can see Mutt, you can see Junkyard, you can see all the extras and goodies in there. Just angling the box around so you can see it better under my lights. Somebody did comment actually on my tweet that I put out saying, oh look what's arrived today, that mentioned that they look like they're getting a bit drowned in the size of the box there, and I don't think that individual was wrong really. They've in fact they're bang on the money, because there does seem to be a lot of dead space hanging around in there, so it could have been a little bit more refined, better package. But other than that, we've got the kind of standard G.I. Joe Classified Series motifs that we've come to expect on the packaging. Nice bit of painted artwork along the side there, with the facial features on Mutt and Junkyard mirroring the facial features on Mutt and Junkyard in the figure form. The logo, the name down in the corner here, all pretty standard stuff. Then on the back here, you can see that Mutt and Junkyard are 113 in the line. We've got the lovely digital render artwork here, showing off the figures in a dynamic pose. A few breakout boxes here, showing off some key features. Mutt's facial features, Junkyard's head swap there, and then some of the finer detail and paint applications on his tactical vest. Although that looks to me like we've got some more shotgun shells on a character that's not got a shotgun. All the legal bollocks and malarkey across the bottom. And then, of course, we've got the data card. Nice and zoomed in here on the data card. So the first item on the list here is this little police shield there. That's reflective of Mutt's fandom towards police procedurals on network television. He just loves a good police procedural, particularly Blue Bloods and Law and Order. Never missed an episode of either. They both satisfy different elements of his police procedural fandom. Then we've got this little pile of stuff here. This is actually a pile of DVDs. So Mutt is very suspicious of streaming services, very suspicious of the terms and conditions on streaming services, and has an extensive DVD and Blu-ray collection because he's a physical media collector. Sensible? Who knows? Time will tell. Then we've got this little tropical scene here. That's actually coconut trees. So Mutt is a massive fan of coconut, just absolutely obsessed with coconut. Has coconut on everything, makes everything with coconut, coconut milk, coconut rice, coconut curry, coconut curries, coconut cake, and of course, he's partial to a nice pina colada as well. And then finally, we got the little paw here, but not just any paw, a paw that is embellished with a lovely star and a nice little attractive pattern, leaf pattern, around the side, because this is, of course, to highlight the fact that the true standout of this pack and the real character is Junkyard, not Mutt. Got the QR code on the side, whatever. Larger representation of the artwork there, but at the size of the box, I can't get it to fit under my setup, and the light is reflecting off it. All right, let's get this open then. So I've popped the tape across the bottom there, and oh, there we go. Pulls out nice and neat like so. Slide the blister pack out. We've just got a standard G.I. Joe star on the back there. Oh, paperwork. And then into all the goodies. So we've got a little knife up here, which apparently you're not supposed to be able to take out without bending it. Got his big old rifle. I like that one. Riot baton, truncheon, handgun there. Really hate the sound of these blister packs. Got the helmet, big goggles for atop the helmet, little goggles for under the helmet, got the little face mask, breathery thing, many hands. These are what you call a pain in the arse. I know there's folks out there really pleased to see the windowless packaging back, but I hate these blister packs. I much preferred the little weapon lockers that everything came in. Then we got Junkyard's head swap here. Junkyard himself. Oh, I hate that noise. And then Mutt himself. Coming out of there, son. Oh, Jesus, there we go. Right, blister packs suck balls. Oh, there's a fair bit going on in there, isn't there? Well, there we go. There is Mutt and Junkyard out the box. So, as usual, folks, I'm going to go away and get some good old-fashioned hands-on man-child playtime with these two lovely, lovely figures. This excellent team here. Get a good feel for them, investigate some of the elements of playability and poseability and whatnot, and come back and share some review thoughts. So stick around, because Future Chris is going to be with you in 3, 2, 1. Okay then, folks, well, let's get into the visual experience of the pack here, and let's talk about the aesthetic qualities of Mutt and Junkyard. I'm going to get started with Mutt to begin with. I brought him a little bit nearer to the camera so that we can conduct a closer inspection of all those, the finer detail elements, the paint applications, the little sculpt details, etc., etc. And I'm going to start, as I often do, with the head sculpt, because G.I. Joe Classified series, they definitely hit a lot more than they miss with the head sculpts, and this is a big hit with me. Huge amount of character and personality being communicated through the facial expression that they've sculpted onto Mutt here. The old adage of the dog and owner starting to look alike has never been more true than it is here with this face sculpt. So we've got the kind of growling, angry eyebrowed grrr thing going on with Mutt, and it's really well sculpted, really well sculpted. The facial features, the chin, the cheek, the mouth shape into the growl, the fine detail sculpting on the teeth under there, and the hair design of the mustache and the eyebrows, all really lovely and communicating so much about the character there. I love the storytelling that's going on here. You've also got some other fine detail touches, like the scars from his injury on the left-hand side of his face, and a slightly kind of 5 o'clock shadow kind of thing. I nearly said 6 o'clock shadow then. 5 o'clock shadow thing across the chin and the lower parts of the cheeks to really add some further texture and depth to the character and give him a bit more personality. I'm loving it. If there's one criticism of the face sculpt, it's that the paint applications across the moustache are a bit slapdash. I don't know if you can see that there, like the point, the full point down at the bottom here has not been very well applied. It's not particularly well painted. I mean, it's obviously easily rectified, but it's a bit annoying when you get in close and you start truly inspecting it. But on a shelf, back like that, you don't really clock it. But it's overall really good head sculpt, fantastic storytelling going on there with all those fine detail touches we've come to know, love and expect from G.I. Joe Classified series, even down to the ears, the sculpt of the hair, everything just really spot on that above the shoulders point. Stepping back a bit further, you can see there's lots of other lovely fine detail elements to the Mutt character. He's got his insignia badge here that's been sculpted onto his tactical vest, along with some finer details put in there, the star and the leaf motif around the sides there, and of course the paint application of the silver with the brass star in the middle. Some shotgun shells here as well with paint applications on them, although another character with shotgun shells about their person with no actual shotgun provided with the character, but I'm not going to bang on about that. Got this lovely flash of red here on the padded shoulders. You've got paint applications on the clasps and on the zip, with lots of other sculpted details in there to give it further texture and depth. So you can see sort of the textual difference there in the vest compared to the padded shoulders, compared to the knife sheath and all that. So that's all really lovely. That's continued throughout other areas of the figure as well. So you can see here on the wrist guard, for example, on this little dog bitey gauntlet thing, which has probably got a name actually. And you guys out there watching these videos are usually pretty good. What's the name of the little dog bitey wrist guardy thing that he's wearing? Let me know. It's always a good time to learn. But you can see the kind of bite marks and scratches on that little bit of finer detail sculpting in there to again give it some texture, give it some depth. This little was it an air horn, gas canister thing, whatever, but it's been paint applied, the thing's coloured black, and it's got the red label on it. I can't make out what the words say. I even did the old man thing of taking a photo of it so I could zoom in and try and make out the words on that, but I can't, I'm afraid. Sorry, folks. I just do not have the eyesight in my older age. Fabric texture detail in the trousers, in the pants, and then got good paint applications on things like the knee pads and across the boots with these extra paint applied areas here to break up the colour, give it a bit of symmetry, which is all great stuff. He's a hairy fella, is this Mutt as well. You can see they've got some paint applications on the chest and on the arms to communicate, you know, he's just as fuzzy as his companion. Colour schemes are good as well. You've kind of got the standard kind of green camouflagey thing going on, which you often get with these military types in G.I. Joe, but then the tactical vest and the extra bits and bobs are in this kind of reddier brown, which gives it a little bit more flair, a little bit more sparkle. I do wonder if that was the kind of brown colour that they originally were striving for with Grunt, which I criticised from how much the digital render was distinguished from the figure. But that's not the case here. It's got its own kind of flash of style, flash of colour that helps him stand out and have a little bit more shelf presence. Then on to Junkyard, which is equally as well sculpted. The face sculpt on Junkyard is really awesome. And once again, just like with Mutt, lots of kind of storytelling, lots of personality being communicated through the character there. The paint application's awesome in the eyes, around the mouth and the jowls and all that, as well as the different colours across his fur with the brown and the black blending in well at the various points where that takes place. Got some other splashes of colour in there as well. The dog collar in the red with the metallic studs in there with an individual paint application applied to each of the studs. Again, they're a bit sloppy, but that's fine in terms of a kind of overall visual experience. It's only if you get your nose right into it and explore it very closely. And then, of course, he's got his own little tactical vest situation with some more paint applications with the 2 shades of green. If you take a look at him from the back here, that really highlights the quality of the fur sculpt in there as well, giving it that texture and that detail, which I really love. Got his little tail, and the paws are also well sculpted. So Junkyard is awesome, up to the usual standard that we've come to expect from G.I. Joe when it comes to pets and companions. Definitely the equal of Timber for sure. So it is most definitely a thumbs up from me with regards to the visual experience, the aesthetic qualities of the figures. There is an enormous amount of personality and character being communicated through these two that I've enjoyed a great deal since they dropped on my doorstep a couple of days ago. And the realms of possibility with them when it comes to kind of posing them up and enjoying their shelf presence or their presence with regards to taking photos or getting them in dioramas is very, very high. And no complaints at all. Really enjoyed these two from an aesthetic point of view. So let's talk articulation then. I'm going to get started with Mutt again. And for all intents and purposes, Mutt is a standard G.I. Joe classified series figure with regards to the articulation. So if you've been around the line for a while, there won't be any particular surprises here, although there are a couple of quirks that I'll point out for those who are very familiar with the figures. But if you're new around these parts, I'll give you a rundown so that you can get a feel for it. Starting above the shoulders then, in the head, we've got the ball at the top of the neck and ball at the base of the neck, which gives us the full 360 exorcist. Good down, good up. We've got some tilt and swivel going on in there, so an excellent range of motion. Nothing in the uniform design that is obscuring that either, so your motion is really solid and very free and unimpeded. Moving further down into the shoulders, we've got a butterfly joint there, which gives us a little bit of shuffle, but that is somewhat obstructed by the tactical vest, so your front and back points in there are a little bit restricted. What that means in the grand scheme of things is that when you're arming him up with his rifle, it can be a bit of a fuss and a faff and a fiddle to get a kind of two-handed across the chest hold of his rifle, which has been a little bit annoying. Got the hinge and swivel then in the shoulders, giving us a hinge up to a T shape, and then the full 360 all the way around. Swivel there at the pinpoint, and then swivel at the top of the bicep and tricep. Nice pinless elbow getting you up to there. And then the pegged in hands, which gives swivel at the wrist. And then both of these that come on him as standard out the packet have got the up and down hinge on them. Into the main torso, there is a one of the kind of N-shaped hinge cuts across the middle there. It is somewhat restricted by the tactical vest, but I was quite surprised to see that you can actually get a bit of the forward crunch and a bit of the back crunch in there. It's actually more of a fuss and a fiddle to get him back to straight once you've done it. So it is possible to get a bit of the motion there out of that ab crunch in the main torso area. And then we've got the ball joint waist, which gives us good swivel in there and good kind of extra movement in that space. And that's very compliant, really nice, smooth, silky joint in there, which I'm pleased with because I've had a bit of a rough time in waist joints of late with the QC on that articulation. Down into the groin, it's the standard drop-down joint that we see with all the G.I. Joe Classified Series figures, giving decent forward. The old Russian ballet splits there, good range of motion. Then swivel at the top of the thigh there. Pinless double knees that'll get you up to there. And once again, just from a personal experience note, I've been having a lot of trouble with tight thigh cuts and knee joints, and Mutt's been great right out the box. Got swivel at the top of the boot, and then the hinge and rocker at the ankle, giving a range of motion there. Onto Junkyard, and we've got a ball at the top of the head there, which is giving us some down, giving us some up, giving us full 360 swivel, some tilt, some swivel, so nice range of motion there in the neck area. There's then also a joint here at the base of the neck, which is giving us some more swivel and range of motion in there. We've got the doggy equivalent of a butterfly joint in here, and it's also pegged in, so we've got some forward motion, some backwards motion, and then some shuffle in and out on both of the forelegs. Hinge at the top here, giving us some forward. Hinge in the middle there, giving us some more forward, and then a hinge and rocker around the paws. My paw rockers are very, very stiff. Then moving to the rear of Junkyard, you can see there's a swivel point there but I don't know canine anatomy very well at that part of the body, giving us some swivel at the back there. We've got that butterfly joint action thing going on here, giving us some outward motion, and then the swivel forward and back. Got the double joint in the leg there, one at the top, one in the centre, giving you that kind of range of motion there. And then the hinge and rocker on the back feet as well, which are as stiff as they are on the front. Little note on this back leg here, just a personal experience thing once again. This hinge was, the pin in this hinge was sticking out loose. I had to kind of hammer it back in. Well, not literally hammer it back in, but gently bring it back in to get it all the way through the joint there. And you can see it's a bit loose and not so hot put together again. I can rectify that. I've obviously chosen not to before the creation of this video, so I could show that element off, but outside the box, I was very close to this lower part of the leg just coming off altogether because the pin was so far through there. So another thumbs up with regards to articulation, lots of possibility, lots of room to man-child play and pose them in interesting poses and get them into interesting displays. I've been very pleased with the time I've been spending with the two figures, and I think that the G.I. Joe Classified design team have cracked a pretty decent, a very nice animal companion articulation scheme, as well as what they've done with the people, the human beings. So, I mean, they've just taken the same eye for detail and the same kind of standard from that side into the animal side, and all credit to them for it. So, yeah, lots to enjoy there in terms of the articulation. Right, let's move on to the accessories, folks, and talk about the added value with the figures. And I'm going to start with Mutt's helmet here. This is a lovely piece of kit, very well sculpted, nice shape and fit over the top of the head. It's made out of that kind of rubbery, squishy, rubbery kind of plastic that they've had from days gone by. So it's a lovely fit over the top there. Doesn't look too oversized, doesn't look too uncomfortable. Which I've enjoyed. I like the aesthetic of it as well. It's obviously got the contoured lines and shapes to look like a standard military issue helmet, but it's got some kind of battered and muddy, dusty paint application, kind of, like a dry brushy wash thing across it there, just to give it some more personality and character, which I am very appreciative of. There's also two sets of goggles in the pack, and as you can see, one of the sets of goggles has a wider diameter strap on it to fit over the top of the helmet, and it's got this lovely kind of gold pattern paint application across there too, just to give it a splash of colour and not make it one single plain piece of black plastic. And here's the second set of goggles with the smaller diameter to go around his head. These are all right. They're okay. They're a bit of a fuss and a fiddle to get them over, and you have to go over the top of the ears to get a proper fit on them, but they're okay. They look fine. And they do look pretty decent when he's got his helmet on, to be fair. Yeah, not a bad look there with the goggles down actually over his eyes instead of on the top of the helmet. So both looks, I think, are good, are justified. I've generally been going for the goggles over the top of the helmet personally. But there is another element to all this that I want to show you. because he has this as well, the face mask. It's a nice sculpted piece of work there. It's in the soft, gummier plastic, which is fine. Got some paint applications applied to it with the red grills and the green, filter piece at the front, which is nice and gives a whole other visual identity to the character when you've got the goggles over his eyes and this on too. Oh, one thing of note, I've been having to pop the head off to put the mask on his face. I found the diameter to be too small to pull over the top, but look at that. Whole fresh look, whole fresh vibe to the character, another dimension to your visual storytelling there. I'm somewhat a bit frightening and menacing, if you ask me, when you've got the face mask and the goggles and the helmet on. But yeah, just gives you so much more possibility in terms of how you display and how you play with your Mutt. We then have quite a large selection of hand swaps available for Mutt as well, with 3 for the left hand and 3 for the right hand. We have pointy finger. We have an open palmed cup hand. We have the closed fist. We have the full open palm here. We've got the old playground game caught you out. And the closed fist with a bit of a pointy finger. Now, from what I understand, Lenny mentioned this on a stream previously, all the different hand swaps are sculpted around gestures and commands that are used with dogs in the service. I did a bit of Googling around to see if I could find out what gesture is what command, but I didn't have much luck. I could only really find stuff that was for domestic pet ownership rather than animals in the service, but I trust Lenny and his research and knowledge on that front. But again, adding a whole other dimension, a whole set of fresh elements to your posing, to your displaying, to the type of positioning that you put Mutt in, and adding an extra layer of interaction with his companion. Then into his weaponry, Mutt's got a handgun here, a pistol, which is a single piece of moulded plastic with 2 paint colours on it. Got the green and the black. It's fine. It looks like a military service pistol, does the job, fits in his hand well, and has on-figure storage in the holster here on his left thigh. He then has a little knife, always useful to have yourself a little knife. I think we've probably seen this one before, but it's well sculpted. It's got sculpted details, and it's designed. It's not just a very plain piece of crap. And of course, as I've often said in these reviews, very pleased to see that they've painted the blade in a metallic colour, and that has on-figure storage as well. Goes in this knife sheath just on the front of his tactical vest there. Then the old truncheon, the old riot baton, same as the one that we saw in the Shockwave set. So it's got the sculpted detail around the grips there, but it's just a single piece of plastic. Definitely not as bent and wobbly as my Shockwave one came out. Perhaps one of the few advantages to the plastic packaging with the blister pack there. Although, as you can see, there's a little kink in it that was caused by the action of taking it out because of the way they'd put lips over the side. So that's fine. Again, just adds to your storytelling. You can do with that as you please. But no on-figure storage that I could find for this. If it is there and I've missed it, I would welcome someone pointing it out to me. But for the time being, I've just been tucking it into this loop on Junkyard's back. And then Mutt's main piece of weaponry is this rifle. Looks like a classic M16 or some version of a classic M16 to me. Got the green grip across the middle there, and then the black sculpted plastic for the rest of it. Good details, decent looking gun. The magazine is removable as per usual. Got this lovely big peg to hold it in the channel there, which I'm always very appreciative of. It is wobbly. It is wobbly, but as you can see, it's come out the packet a lot straighter than we were experiencing with the little baggies in the old accessory footlocker thing. So as much as I miss the accessory footlockers, I am definitely seeing, at least in this first instance of plastic packaging, an improvement in how bendy the weapons are coming out, although not perfect, as you can see by the barrel there. And of course, Junkyard is not left out of the accessory and added value fun because there's a head swap. So you can pop that one off there, just pop it off the ball joint. And you got this lovely good boy, panting dog, lolling tongue look for Junkyard there, which adds a more sedate, chilled out, fun vibe to the character, so that he's not always in default setting, aggressive, confrontational, in action look. So I think it's a wonderful accessory selection with this pair. Just really opens up the realms of possibility with your posing and displaying. I've mentioned it several times through the review, so I'm not going to retread that. Just really appreciative of the thinking that's gone into the selection of added value here. And I'm always a big fan of getting, head swaps and hand swaps and stuff to open up the doors of possibilities. So it's a big old thumbs up on the accessories and added value from me. Well, here we are then, folks. Here is Mutt Junkyard making their way around on the turntable. Time for final thoughts and a last look at the figures. And I think this is a tremendous set, an excellent package, loads of added value chucked in, tons of things you can do with them. The range of possibility when it comes to posing, displaying, photographing, playing around with your dioramas, getting them out in the garden, whatever you want to do with them. It's so much options, and the accessories further open up the doors as to what is possible with them, and I've had a tremendous amount of fun. It's a nice, quiet, kind of lightweight period of the year, so I've been getting quite a bit of playtime in with these guys over the last couple of days since they arrived in the post, and I've got nothing but positive things to say on all three of my kind of main review points: the aesthetic, the articulation, and the accessories. It's thumbs up all round. They look great in display. They're fitting in well with all the other Joes. There is very little else I can say other than I would highly recommend this set. If it's caught your eye and you're thinking about picking one up, then do it. I do not think you will be disappointed. It's just got those extra little bits of attention to detail that every now and again is slightly missing on the odd G.I. Joe. And they've just cut no corners, really. They've cut no corners, and it's up to the usual standard. So very, very pleased. I think everybody should go out and get this one. It's hella fun, guys. Tons of fun, All right, well, there we are then. All that remains for me to say is to thank you for taking the time to come and watching me. There's a multitude of other YouTubers producing reviews of this nature, so you could have chosen any of them. You chose mine, and I'm really, really super grateful. Massive thank you to all those who subscribed to the channel already. If you're not already subscribed, then I'd like to kindly and politely ask you if you'd consider hitting that button and joining the MoDXtra Games and Collectibles viewing community. But outside of that, I look forward to seeing you around these parts again sometime soon. So take it easy, folks. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful month. All that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys in 2024.